apart from being so close to the city, it's actually quite a lovely community atmosphere too.
There are so many wonderful places to walk and cycle and picnic and swim.
The way the bushland's been preserved all around here.
So, you know, it's just a unique, beautiful area for people to come and visit and people to live.
It was important to us to choose sustainable options where we could for reasons of the environment and also our own comfort. We chose to use double glazing in the doors and windows at the back of the house. We noticed immediately it was installed that it was much quieter inside when everything was closed and also warmer. We installed a 4,500 litre water tank under the deck, but it's also nice to know that we're a little bit self-sufficient when it comes to using water in the garden. We can use water at times of the day that suit us. We used sustainable FSC certified timber for the decking, and so we've done a tiny little bit to help preserve the biodiversity and carbon sinks that old growth forests are. We also have solar panels installed. They produce more energy than we use. It's satisfying to know that we're producing a bit of energy here that isn't coming from fossil fuel sources. If you have any garden space at all, composting is very easy. We have 2 compost bins and we compost all kitchen and garden waste, and that is a benefit to us as well because we use it in the vegetable garden. There are a lot of waste materials around that you can use successfully in the garden. The garden beds have been built out of recycled railway sleepers, and we've put netting over the top of them, and that is supported by arches made with recycled irrigation pipe. Consider very carefully each renovation decision, or even whether to renovate or what to renovate. You don't want to be making decisions in a hurry before you start. I'd recommend working with a green builder who will know other green suppliers and contractors.
A couple of years ago, a group of us got together and decided that we'd like to set up community gardens in the suburb. So we started off with a small area, and in just 4 months our wonderful volunteers turned it into an oasis with gardens and ponds.
Starting the community garden movement around here has been amazing for influencing other people, because the people who come to the garden, I think they do get more interested in vegetables and maybe growing a few vegetables, even if they've got a townhouse like we have or a balcony. Everything here is recycled, and we've hardly had to buy anything new.
There's so much growing here in the sense of quite a lot of organic produce. We only use organic seeds, and really what we have here is just a whole selection of veggies that people love. So it's the kids have got quite a bit of an input in it as well, so the things that they like to eat, as well as all of us grown-ups. We nourish our soil with compost that we actually make here at the garden, and basically everyone just brings along their fresh vegetable cuttings.
And more recently, they've just agreed to almost double the allocation of land, and again the council kindly paid for the relocation of the fence. So we've now got extra land. We're going to build beds and increase the acreage considerably.
And a lot of work to do.
We all meet as a group on Wednesday afternoons and Sunday afternoons. And Sunday in particular is the big social event. We come here and we work, and then people bring food and drink, and you know, it's a party basically every Sunday afternoon.
In 2010 we established the Active Transport Working Group with the objective of reducing the reliance on private vehicles through the expansion of pedestrian and bicycle facilities. This year we have new bicycle paths and pedestrian facilities going in at Athol Wharf Road, Bradley's Head Road, and here at the Spit, which forms part of the regional route connecting cyclists from the northern beaches to the city. The bicycle path here in Pearl Bay is part of a larger network of paths leading people to North Sydney. It's a very attractive way to commute compared to driving your car.
I ride to work because Firstly, it's really good for my health, but secondly, I was interested to see that Mosman were pushing a cycle to work day each year. So this idea is great because it keeps people safer and it encourages people to use the bikes, and it's also a really big bonus for people who are travelling through Mosman.
With all our building projects now in Mosman, we try to integrate sustainable materials. The pedestrian paths here in Pearl Bay were made with recycled concrete that would have otherwise ended up in landfill. Such as the amenities buildings, we have introduced solar panels, as well as at the Drill Hall Sports Centre.
The Laurie Pluckett Reserve, the three primary aims of the project here were to control the stormwater. The stormwater was sort of running through the reserve in an uncontrolled fashion, which meant it went wide across the landscape and affected a lot of the soils and obviously brought the weeds in. And the other reason was to allow public access through the reserve. Back then it was basically wall-to-wall lantana and you couldn't get through the area. And the third reason for the project was for heritage interpretation. This was an old tram line. There is an old heritage culvert further up the road there, and obviously you can see here this is an old tram cut-in. We had to re-veg some of the areas and other areas we could regenerate. Another aspect of the project which came in a bit later on was the retention of the stormwater. This system is down on a reserve on Botanic Road. It's all underground, it's hidden, it has a 500,000 litre capacity to capture the stormwater. This stormwater can then be reused, and the purpose of the stormwater, I guess, in the long term is to irrigate the Balmoral foreshore. We're fortunate here in Mosman that we have quite a good community base that are interested in bushland regeneration and management, and the council provides significant resources to facilitate this. Our local community, there's about probably over 100 volunteers that help in the restoration of bushland areas in Mosman. We facilitate a group for them. Generally it's where they live, or if they're not necessarily interested in working around their property area, they can go into an area, a group that's established. It's good company, doing a worthwhile cause, and both council and other community members appreciate their work.
In the last 10 years, we have significantly improved the way we manage the natural environment in Mosman. 90% of our stormwater is now filtered, and through that program we have collected about 3,000 tonnes of pollutants which would have otherwise ended up in the harbour. We have also increased the ecological value of our seawalls. For instance, here in Pearl Bay, we introduced a boulder field and salt marsh, which significantly increased the marine life around the area by providing a habitat.
As you can see, the beautiful beaches behind me, visitors and the Mosman residents use these beaches and the other beaches in Mosman, so it's very important that we have good clean water. Also, it's an aesthetic thing, so people don't want to see rubbish floating around in the water when they're wanting to swim. We have a lot of marine life here at Balmoral, as well as Clifton Gardens and other beaches in Mosman, so it's very important for them. They need clean water to survive. Our council has the most stormwater quality improvement devices of any council around, and we do that just to ensure that we're improving the water quality here at Mosman. Some are purely nets, which are attached to the end of a stormwater drain, and they just catch the gross pollutants, which are cans, plastic bags, general litter. Others, which are our main squid, they're built into the ground, so they're concrete cylinders. They're attached to the stormwater line, so any water coming through the catchment will go into the squid, and so any gross pollutants will drop to the bottom, and then the water will keep going out into the harbour.
We clean all the rubbish that is washed up onto the beaches. We lower it down so that the sieve is just touching the sand, which prevents it from going back into the ocean. The type of rubbish we pick up is any leaf material, anything that's washed up from the shore, any plastic bags, any rubbish that's left behind by people that come to the beaches. Removing all the pollution from the beach before it gets into the ocean is only beneficial to the ocean.
While our work revolves around 365 days of the year, We commence work at 5:30 in the morning, and sometimes we don't finish till 7 o'clock at night. And we take great pride in the work that we do here.